Hi guys, in this video we're going to cover plotting parabola using the intercept method. So this method works best when we have two sets of brackets. When we solve a quadratic, usually what we're trying to do is factorize it and make it equal 0. That way anything in this pair of brackets here, when we make it equal 0 and multiply it by anything in these brackets will equal 0. And here we're trying to make this pair of brackets 0. So that 0 times whatever's in these brackets also equals 0. Now this 0 here is actually our y value, and on our graph that y value of 0 occurs along our x-axis. So in fact when we solve a quadratic and we find out how to make each of these pairs of brackets 0, we're in fact finding the x-intercepts of the parabola. So here to make this 0 it's of course a -4, and here it's a +2. And so we can plot those x-intercepts here on our graph. Okay, so the next thing we know is that because parabola are symmetrical around their vertex, then exactly halfway between these 2 points, somewhere along this axis here at -1, we will find the turning point of our parabola. So to find that, I simply use the x value here, -1, and put that into my equation and find out my new y value, how high up or down I would go to place my mark from -1. So I'm just going to rewrite my equation now as -1 plus 4 times -1 minus 2. And then I'll just simplify this. So -1 plus 4 is 3, -1 minus 2 is -3, and so I'm multiplying those together, and -3 times +3 is a -9. And so if I go down here on my axes, I can put a mark here, and this will be the turning point of my parabola. Now it's also useful to find another couple of points around that you can use to draw your parabola. When it gets marked in the exam, they're going to be looking for the accuracy of your turning point and any intercept. So what I'm actually going to do now is find my y-intercept for my parabola. And of course my y-intercept occurs when x is 0, and so I can simply put a 0 now in for x into my equation. And that of course is now 4 times -2, and that equals -8. And so here is my y-intercept. And because it's symmetrical around the vertex, I know that if I go 1 across 1 up here, then 1 across 1 up here is going to be another point that I can mark on my parabola. So I can continue on to put in other points if I need to. So here I could put a +1 into my equation and find this point here on my parabola. And of course if I move over here symmetrically, I can put another point there. And once I'm comfortable, what I simply am left to do is just draw a nice curve through all my points. And of course, hopefully with a pen and paper, you can do a much tidier job than I can. But of course, what we're looking for is a nice curve at the bottom, not a V shape, and that we get our points that we've marked out as accurately as possible. When the marker marks it, they're definitely going to be looking at your vertex, any intercepts, and that nice smooth curve.